I was raised to believe people should treat each other right, but a lot of the times they don't. Why won't you take care of your customer?
What part of your job's done didn't you understand?
Well, see, because you don't tell me my job's done.
You're not a real taxi. Can you tell us who you're with?
They'll lie, cheat, and steal from you. Sir, we'd like to talk to you about possible prosecution for selling a stolen car. They think nobody cares.
Okay, turn the camera off right now.
I care, and that's why TrustDALE Investigates. Wherever you go in this country, the formula for achieving the American dream is pretty much the same. Work hard and save smart so you can buy a home. That's the path Julie and Boyd Norris followed. That is, until a contractor cracked and nearly destroyed their nest egg.
We had a dream to build a tiny house here, and it took us a while to find some land. Then we found a builder that we thought was doing everything, green, and we liked his concept and how he was building these tiny house structures.
Julie Norris and her husband Boyd made a big investment in a tiny home. Nearly 2 years ago, they wired more than $22,000 to Dave Radis, owner of Cocoon Homes in Georgia.
We sent him our money in February of 2017. We had equipment here on site to build the house, and got an email from him that day saying he wasn't going to be able to come.
According to the Norrises, he never had any intention to deliver on this deal.
And it was just one excuse after another.
Did you feel like you'd been ripped off?
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming up, we'll show you how this man systematically schemed a couple in Texas out of their savings.
How can you continue to sell homes when you haven't delivered on the one home that you sold to the Norrises?
You say I haven't. Talk to the attorney.
Well, what do you say?
I said talk to the attorney.
Up next, attorneys, court cases, and the missing money. What did he do with the nearly $23,000? That's next.
Have damage from recent storms or just an old worn-out roof? Trust the experts. Roof It Forward is recognized in the industry as one of the largest residential roofing companies in the entire Southeast and donates a portion of every job to fight childhood cancer. Call today to schedule a free video roof inspection.
We know there's a lot of other cleaning companies to choose from.
Not for me. I've tried those other guys. They just don't clean my home as good as these guys do. They even moved my furniture, so my entire room gets clean.
Our equipment cleans like no one else's, and our cleaning solution meets rigorous EPA Safer Choice standards with no harmful residue left behind.
That's why I call.
Call or visit StanleySteamer.com for local specials.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer, your certified cleaner.
When nearly $23,000 of this couple's money vanishes in a home construction scheme, TrustDALE Investigates. Let's get back to the story.
Yeah, when I met him face to face in Atlanta and asked him, where our house is and when he was going to deliver it, his total demeanor changed. And I saw the true Dave Radis. And I'm like, there's no way this guy is legit.
Legit or not legit? That's what Julie Norris was determined to find out when she traveled from her home in Granbury, Texas, all the way to the annual Atlanta Home Show in the spring of 2017. She intended to confront the man who cashed their check but never delivered their tiny home. That's when I first heard the Norris' story.
I made myself shirts that said, no home, no refund, no cocoon, because I was going to wear them around the show to make sure that everybody knew that this guy is not who he says he is.
And the show management did kick him out of the event, but Dave Radis, owner of Cocoon Tiny Home Kits, continued to dodge the Norris' request for a refund. That's when Boyd Norris made another trip to Atlanta to try to catch up with Radis at a community affairs meeting about tiny houses in Atlanta. But Radis was a no-show. You gonna give up?
No. We're going to see it through, hopefully. We filed a summary judgment. Hopefully he'll get his business confiscated, his personal assets confiscated, and we get paid back, and then we're still going to pursue criminal prosecution.
That's what we thought local authorities would do, arrest him for theft, but that didn't happen. Why? Well, their claim was deemed a civil case, a business dispute.
I filed a theft report here locally, and they really didn't do anything with it. And then we contacted the county down where he lives, and they were like, well, you've got to follow the money. And it was just a wild goose chase trying to get any kind of law enforcement to take action on this guy.
Welcome to the ripoff range. Chances are you've been caught here before. It's a segment of the economy where con artists steal anywhere from $500 to $50,000 from you with zero accountability. You see, law enforcement almost always considers this to be a business dispute, to be settled in the court system. Problem is, the only winners in that scenario are attorneys, because you soon discover it's going to cost you more to sue than you'll ever possibly recover. And the con artists know that. We tried to reach Dave on the phone to give him an opportunity to explain what went awry, but he wouldn't return our calls. That's when we decided to visit the Cocoon headquarters in Toccoa, Georgia, to get some answers. Hi there.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Dale Cardwell. How are you?
Doing well.
Is Dave here?
Hi. Huh? Is
Dave here?
No, he had to run and go do something, and we were just about to head out because I've got to be somewhere by 3. So
Yeah. Okay. So we're with TrustDALE TV.
Okay.
Here on behalf of the Norrises, Boyd and Julie Norris.
I have no comment.
Yeah. Well, they paid you guys $22,000.
I have no comment.
Dave told us that he wanted us to wait until Thanksgiving so that he could explain to him. But that wasn't good enough for us. Our investigative team kept tabs on Rada's social media accounts because we knew he couldn't resist casting his rod to hook more unsuspecting consumers. When he promoted being at a local home show, we showed up.
That's right.
Hi, are you Dave?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Marnie. I've been trying to catch up with you for quite a long time. Yeah, I work with consumer investigator Dale Cardwell.
Yeah.
Hey.
How's Dale doing?
He's doing really good. I was just coming by to check with you.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
This is Joe.
Hi, Joe.
How do you do?
Partner.
At first, he was pretty friendly, but when the questioning begins, he gets a bit ruffled.
I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about Julie Norris and Boyd Norris's home.
Yeah, that all went through court in Texas. You can do your research and find out how that ended.
Well, it seems like it hasn't ended yet, though.
Talk to my attorney.
Can you tell me why you never delivered the home to their house?
She canceled the order.
But then why didn't you give back the money, which is $23,000?
It's in process right now.
Okay.
So if you want the whole story, talk to the attorneys. You know how that goes.
How can you continue to sell homes when you haven't delivered on the one home that you sold to the Norrises?
You say I haven't. Talk to the attorneys.
Funny, his attorney never did return our calls. But this is the kind of runaround that can be so maddening. Instead of Rady simply repaying the Norrises, or at the very least apologizing, he's spending thousands of dollars to fight their claim, burying them in tons of paperwork and legal fees in a crude attempt to get them to drop their case. But after months of our team staying on local law enforcement, guess who's talking to attorneys now?
Mr. Reyes, do you have an attorney?
No, sir.
All right, do you plan to hire an attorney?
No, I was going to file for a public.
All right, you're going to file for the public defender's office?
Yes, sir.
17 months and 28 days after the Norrises wired this man nearly $23,000 to build and construct their tiny house in Texas, Radis is building a defense for the crime he's alleged to have committed. In a Stevens County courtroom in Toccoa, Georgia, Radis entered his plea.
He is charged with 1 count of felony theft by conversion and 1 count of conversion of payments for real property improvements. If he maintains his not guilty plea, he'll have a right to a trial before jury.
And while Radis seems intent on delaying justice as long as he possibly can, we felt Julie and Boyd Norris deserved answers. Did you intend to steal $22,000 with the Norrises, or was it just a business deal that you couldn't deliver on? They want to know how you feel about what you did to them. Does that help you feel better? Even without an apology, the Norrises are moving on. Julie, here we sit in Granbury, Texas, knowing today that Dave Radis is under arrest and facing theft charges. How do you feel about that?
Very happy. Finally, we had some movement on him. and he knows we're not going away.
Nor did they give up on their dream.
Once he said he wasn't going to deliver our house, we looked elsewhere.
And they found another builder, this one out of Colorado, who delivered their tiny house kit 3 weeks early. And can I say, the home they ended up building is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, we wouldn't have gotten this far and still probably been married had we not met you guys and had you helping us too. We finally got to see our dream come true.
And that's exactly why TrustDALE exists, to solve your unsolvable problem. Coming up, the tiny print about a tiny insect. It's how one pest control company almost got away with leaving a customer holding the bill for thousands.
This is Mrs. Richards. She called us when her dishwasher overflowed.
I was panicked. Water was everywhere. So I called Stanley Steamer. You guys showed up so fast, got rid of all the water, set up special equipment, even checked for hidden water. Now everything's back to dry.
And back to normal.
That's why I call.
For 24-hour emergency water restoration.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
I'm Sharon Hess.
And I'm Kurt Hess, and we own Mommy Management, a personal assistance company.
Our clients need every service under the sun, from plumbing to painting, even pet grooming. So it's important to hire the right company the first time. That's why we use TrustDALE.
TrustDALE companies are local and meet a transparent 7-point investigative standard and never require our clients' personal information. And the best part, every recommended company is backed by Dale's Make It Right guarantee.
They've done the research, and it's free for you at TrustDALE.
Like most people, Mrs. McCabe has several different types of flooring.
I have carpet, tile, and hardwood. I've tried running those machines, but they just don't get them as clean as you do.
Vacuuming and mopping is great for day-to-day cleanings, but nothing gets your home clean and healthy like a professional carpet, tile, or hardwood cleaning from Stanley Steamer.
That's why I call.
Call or visit StanleySteamer.com for local specials.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer, your certified cleaner.
Welcome back to TrustDALE Investigates. When was the last time you thought about the status of your home's termite bond? Chances are you haven't given it a second thought until right now. Well, most people think of their bond like an insurance policy that protects against damage and pays for repairs. But a close look at your contract's fine print may reveal something altogether different.
I was shocked and confused, not happy, and
that's how Jody Grace felt when she found out her termite bond was, in her words, basically worthless after discovering termite damage in her recently purchased property.
We immediately thought, this isn't a problem because this home is under a termite bond, and it's been under a termite bond since 1983.
Bond or no bond, those buggers got into the walls, gnawing away at the wood, turning these load-bearing beams into tissue. When she contacted the company supplying the bond, she was blown away by their response.
And they sent an inspector out to confirm that it is termite damage, that there was no live termite activity to be found, and they said they are not responsible for any of the damage.
They then sent her a highlighted copy of her contract, exempting them from any financial responsibility.
It's unbelievably shocking that they're saying they won't pay to repair old damage. I mean, it could be a month old, but if the termites are not there, they're just saying, we don't know when that happened.
It's a common misperception, but nearly every termite bond has a similar provision written into the contract that protects the pest control company and precludes them from having to pay for repairs unless they find the little critters in the act. The bond on Jody's home was held by the same termite company for the past 35 years. But when she tried to collect, they said, not our problem.
The language in that contract says that they are not responsible for damages unless they are active termites at the time, which to me says there's absolutely no incentive for their inspectors to discover active termites. Why would they?
Frustrated, Jody had another company inspect her property. Their advice? Call TrustDALE. She did, and then this happened.
My friend Joe at TrustDALE called them, and they were seemingly much more agreeable to him.
In fact, so agreeable, the termite company re-inspected her home.
He came in and looked at all of the termite damage, and he said that he wants to do the right thing and that clearly this damage has happened since the time they've had the bond on the house. We will submit the claim, and he will, I don't know 100%, but he said yes, that he's going to turn it in and that they should pay for it.
That's good.
Here's the truth about termite bonds. They are not created equal, and many are riddled with exclusions. And when it comes to termites, it's not a matter of if they will attack, but when. So whoever holds your bond, know what your contract covers and does not cover, and keep up with the status of your barriers and bait stations. Up next.
Can I just confirm you guys work with Stanley Steamer?
Hijacking a national company's identity? Wow, you better be really good to pull that off. Let's just say they needed better actors.
Have damage from recent storms or just an old worn-out roof? Trust the experts. Roof It Forward is recognized in the industry as one of the largest residential roofing companies in the entire Southeast and donates a portion of every job to fight childhood cancer. Call today to schedule a free video roof inspection.
Roof It Forward helps some kids in need.
I'm Sharon Hess.
And I'm Kurt Hess, and we own Mommy Management, a personal assistance company.
Our clients need every service under the sun, from plumbing to painting, even pet grooming. So it's important to hire the right company the first time. That's why we use TrustDALE.
TrustDALE companies are local and meet a transparent 7-point investigative standard and never require our clients' personal information. And the best part, every recommended company is backed by Dale's Make It Right guarantee.
They've done the research, and it's free for you at TrustDALE.
Chuck's in over his head. He's drowning in credit card debt with no hope of ever paying it off. Now creditors are threatening to sue. What's Chuck to do? One call to Clark in Washington is all it takes, Chuck. They can throw you a lifeline to rescue you from your debt. If you're drowning, you call a lifeguard. If you're drowning in debt, call Clark in Washington.
Austin, do you feel all right doing this to people? Is it kind of...
You don't let me to speak with you, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, you go around and do this to people every day. Welcome back to TrustDALE Investigates. It goes on every day across the nation. Networks of carpet-bagging carpet cleaning companies setting up shop and preying like parasites on unsuspecting customers of established reputable carpet cleaning companies. It's a simple con, made even easier by modern-day technology. But first, let's begin at the beginning of this scheme.
I called Stanley Steamer.
Or at least a company she thought was Stanley Steamer.
I said, are you with Stanley Steamer? He says, yes, I am with Stanley Steamer.
Miss Martin, what made you suspicious?
Then I was looking at his clothes and I didn't see anything that was professional like Stanley Steamer is. I started talking to him about you all move things around, and he says he was a little hesitant with that, and I said, well, Stanley Steamer always does that.
Want to see how this happens? Well, let's say you want to hire a particular floor cleaning company, but you don't know their phone number. So you type in their name, hit return, and click on the first entry at the top of the page. Well, chances are that's not the company you were searching for, but rather a competitor that's bought keywords in the industry. Well, doing that is one thing, but if they pick up the phone and pretend to be the company that you were searching for, that's altogether different. And if so, it's time to sting them. Our TrustDALE team called the company posing as Ms. Martin's granddaughter.
Grandma was telling me that she wanted, she usually uses Stanley Steamer. Are you guys affiliated with them at all?
Yes, we are, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Once they falsely confirmed they are a subcontractor of Stanley Steamer, we set a time to meet them at Ms. Martin's home. After driving up in what is clearly not a Stanley Steamer van, and the tech approaches the door in what is clearly not a Stanley Steamer uniform, this is how it all went down. Hi, I'm Dale Cardwell with TrustDALE Investigates. How are you?
Hey,
are you Stanley Steamer?
We work with them, yeah.
You work with Stanley Steamer. Who's your contact there?
I can give you my supervisor.
Excellent, thank you. After we confronted him at the door, we followed him out to his van.
Honestly, do you feel all right doing this to people? Is it kind of... You don't let me to speak with you, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, you go around and do this to people every day. This poor lady would have paid you a lot of money. Our TrustDALE investigative team kept digging, calling the owner of the carpet cleaning company. Over the phone, listen as he explains to our senior producer, Marnie Zambri, how he takes advantage of customers who contact his company thinking they're someone else. This is how he rationalizes his unethical behavior.
There's one thing, okay, to advertise like your stainless steamer or your another company, which is like a fraud or something, or another thing, whereas the customer make the mistakes, okay?
Did you hear that? He's actually blaming the customer for not catching his deception.
And sometimes when we come to the house, only then they ask if you're not stainless steamer, okay? So it's basically their mistake. So a lot of times we say we don't stainless steamer, they just tell us to go. But when they tell us to go, who's paying for whose fault it is? So who's paying for the gas and the time we took for their mistake?
After nabbing this company in the act, we contacted Google. They said, when we find ads on our platforms that violate our policies, we move swiftly to take action. We have removed these ads and the advertiser accounts. And Ms. Martin was thrilled to be able to prevent others from falling for this scheme.
I am so happy that it won't happen to anybody else, that I hope. And I'm so glad that you came out.
We want to thank you for doing this and saving so many people from being scammed in the future. As a big thank you to Ms. Martin, Stanley Steamer did clean her carpets for free. Good for her. But this isn't an isolated incident. It's happening all the time in multiple service industries. And as of now, there are no legal consequences for companies who manipulate internet ad space to ride the coattails of reputable companies. So be warned. An oil change, a tire rotation, and getting ready for the big road trip. But wait, you'll need a new engine too. When two repair companies point fingers at each other, we step in to help one young man get down the road. I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell, and this is Consumer News We Can Use. If you own a car, you've probably thought about motor oil at least once or twice. But unless you're a gearhead, you might be confused by all the different types of motor oils that are on the market. We asked the experts at Haviland Express Lube to help debunk the most common motor oil myths. What's the difference between synthetic oil and conventional oil?
Synthetic oil is a man-made oil where it's going to help with higher temperatures, it's going to help with deposits in the engine, it's also going to help you have a cleaner running engine. Conventional is a very good oil too, but with the synthetic oil you really are going to get more performance out of your engine, better fuel economy, and extended drain intervals.
Your vehicle just takes conventional oil.
Yeah, but I'm getting up there in miles. Does that matter?
How many miles are we talking about?
140,000.
Yeah, you're up there a little bit. I would recommend using the Haviland high mileage motor oil. It's going to help loosen up the seals because they're probably dry rot and cracked. Just like when your hands crack and you put lotion on them, the lotion will help. That's what the high mileage motor oil is going to do for the engine.
Let's do it today.
Great, we'll get it done.
Okay.
Oil's full, clear drain bay 2.
People get all wigged out over the W factor in oil. Should I even worry about that?
When you look at an engine oil like a 5W30, the 5 in W, where W represents winter, is what your oil is expected to flow at lower temperatures. The second number is what the oil is going to flow at when it reaches operating temperatures.
So I need to bring it to you guys because y'all know all that stuff and I don't want to know it.
Absolutely, Dale. Bring your car to us, let us be the experts, and we'll keep you on the road.
And this is Consumer News We Can Use.
To find trustworthy and certified companies like this, go to TrustDALE.com. And remember, every TrustDALE company is backed by the Make It Right guarantee.
Welcome back to TrustDALE Investigates. Now, an interesting twist on a typical consumer problem. Companies refusing to step up and take responsibility when something goes wrong with their product or service. In this case, with a car. What makes it different is that the consumer caught in the center of this issue can't be identified per a settlement agreement, but Bob's experience is so important to share, we hired a cartoonist to help us tell his story.
About 6 months ago, I was getting ready for a cross-country road trip. Before I started, I went to a local mechanic shop and got my car serviced and tires rotated, all of that. And then about a day and a half into my road trip, the car started having some problems. I took it to a well-known repair shop, and they determined that the car was completely broken. It needed a new engine.
A new engine?
Yes, a new engine.
What do you think happened to the car?
It could have been the maintenance shop that I went to, or it could have been just an intrinsic problem with the car. Personally, I feel like it was the first of the two. I had driven the car for almost exactly a year at that point. I'd always done scheduled maintenance. I had always taken care of my car, and my car ran absolutely great. Right up until 2 days after I got the maintenance done on it, and then everything, went south.
With no one taking responsibility, Bob reached out to TrustDALE, and the TrustDALE team turned up the heat on the car company. So Bob, how's your car?
My car got back and it is running well. I did not pay a dime for it. I think it's really nice to know that there's somebody that's on your side, that you trust Dale to help you out.
The jury's still out on who's really at fault here. Did the oil change company make a mistake, or was it truly a troubled engine? We may never know the truth, but the lesson learned is don't give up when two companies are pointing fingers at each other. That's a tactic to try to get you to go away. Engaging with you is an important part of all of our investigations, and we're listening to what you have to say on our Facebook page and answering your consumer questions. On Tiny House, Melinda says, "What a crook! How many others have sent this slug money and not gotten a home?" Well, Melinda, we've actually been contacted by another customer with a similar situation, and local authorities are investigating. Thanks for commenting. On termite trouble, Jody, the homeowner in the story, posted this. After TrustDALE contacted my termite company, they agreed to pay for all the termite damage. I received a check for $6,880. I would not have gotten anywhere without their involvement. Thanks, Jody, for commenting. On carpet cleaning scams, Shirley says, "This happened to me. I ended up canceling my debit card that I paid them with." Smart move, Shirley. One viewer emails asking, "I'm putting a pool in my backyard. When the pool company started digging, they found an enormous amount of construction debris buried by the builder. Can I get the builder to pay for the cleanup?" Great question, but not a simple answer. In some states, if the contractor deliberately hid the problem, like buried trash, you could hold the builders accountable, but the state may put a statute of limitations for a property owner to claim liability. Best bet, check with an attorney. Helping people find solutions to seemingly unsolvable consumer problems is what we do. If you have a consumer problem you think is unsolvable, let us know. And keep up to date with us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube page. I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. TrustDALE Investigates.